the first question.
Why?
I'm asking the questions here, young man. Okay, do you remember how you first got involved in Amnesty International and how it came about that you were formed in that very first year, back in '76?
Well, the long answer is that someone called Alexander Graham Bell invented a...
We have the short answer.
All right. So, please rang me. And said, are you interested in doing this? And he said, I care a lot about this. And I said, well, certainly, yeah. And that's what it was like in the early days. No one knew what it was going to be like. And as we couldn't get a theatre until the show that was in the theatre closed. So it was pajama game, the midnight party, But tell me more about how you actually got all those people together in that one theatre that late at night.
Well, my involvement, I didn't get the call from Peter, I got the call from a wonderful British comedian called John Bird.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful comedic actor and comedian, some people I know. And John Bird phoned up. I was working at a record company in those days, and John had produced, I produced an album with John.
Oh, Idi Amin,
that's right. It was a spoof on Idi Amin.
Get back to the end.
You're right. He said, I'm doing a benefit show, could we sell some records in the lobby? And I said, yeah, we could do that, but what's the benefit show? You mentioned it was Python and yourself. I said, we should record that. I phoned up and offered my services.
Indeed. And how did Roger Graves get involved? Because he was a movie maker.
Roger Graves was a documentary maker who was known for doing these fly-on-the-wall verite films about British police and British politics and trade unions. So he volunteered because he was interested more in the documentary. And tomorrow night, when you see Pleasure and Her Majesties, the first third of it is a fascinating footage of the pipers and everybody rehearsing, which he's the only person who did that. But he was involved because he wanted to make a documentary on it.
Yes. And very good it was.
It's my turn to ask a question.
All right.
I'll ask you. You did the protest song on that first show, and people adore that. Where did that protest song come from? Because a lot of people think it was just a Bob Dylan mistake.
Well, I remember being in Chicago in 1969. 69? Yeah, I thought it was 68. But in fact, someone pointed out that we went in 1969. But I mean, but it was the 60s. I went through the 60s, and now I'm going through them again. But the thing was, 68 was all the student stuff and the weathermen and everything else. 69 was Moratorium Day, and Abbie Hoffman had blown up, or the Yuppies had blown up the statue of the policeman. The Black Panthers were marching, and the silent majority were invited to turn on their headlights to show their disapproval of everything, including daylight. Anyway, so I mean, that's what it was. The hook line of the protest song. I thought it was kind of funny that people who made a lot of money out of popular music an awful lot of them were doing kind of protest songs, and somehow it seemed to be a bit more in vogue than from the heart. So I thought I'd better spear this with a horrible song, of which the chorus goes: "Rain on a tin roof sounds like a drum. We're marching for freedom today. Turn on your headlights and sound your horn if people get in the way." A terrible mouthful of code. But I mean, is that on tonight? No, it's not.
No, that's tomorrow night.
But yeah, no, I mean, the whole thing about, a lot of the material chosen for the amnesty was sort of tinged with, the outrages going on, but obviously you can't sort of drop everything funny and do sort of deadly serious stuff about deadly serious things and call it comedy, although some try.
You have a question, Mr. Ellis?
I do. Moving on to when we went to Drury Lane, it was you who coined the name the Secret Policeman's Ball. You said, I've learned the thing for two. You said, make the question so long you can't, it doesn't say anything. But you actually introduced the big rock stars into the amnesty thing. So tell us how you got about that. How did you pull that off?
That really came about because John Cleese, alone of the Pikers, was not much of a rock music fan. Most of the other friends in Pikers, the rock music fans, John wasn't a big rock music fan. He liked John Williams playing classical guitar. And for the '79 show, which was showing on Saturday night, he invited John Williams to play classical guitar. And I asked him, would it be okay to have something a tad more contemporary as well? Not instead of, but as well. And John just said to me, look, I don't mind, it's not my cup of tea. If you want to organise that, you go and do that. And I was like a kid in a candy store, and I just thought, well, who do I know? And I slightly knew Pete Townsend. I phoned up and asked if he would do the show. And at first he was very circumspect, because he said he was nervous, and it didn't make sense to me. You see, these guys played at Woodstock in front of 500,000 people. But he said to me, no, that's with the Who. It's easy to be in front of 500,000 people when you've got Roger Daltrey and Keith Moon. So he was nervous about it, but he did do it. And that, I would say, when the cynics say, oh, there's this benefit fatigue and people don't care and, they won't do shows, they're not interested. What Townsend did was he set an example for others, because when it came to the 1981 show, I phoned up Sting. I only had to get as far as saying secret pull up, and Sting said, I'll do it. Same thing with Phil Collins, Eric Clapton. All the folks wanted to do it because they'd seen an example set by somebody else. And then, as Bono, and he said it more eloquently than anybody, it planted a seed with him. And then he and Peter Gabriel and all the others, and then biggest of the lot was Bob Geldof. He came to the show in '81, and then he took it, did it far bigger than any of us had dreamed of. So I think it's a wonderful success story that these performers saw others and it inspired them to do something.
Yeah, that sums it up really. I mean, I don't know how long we want to go on with this. These good people, it's almost my bedtime.
I'd like to ask you one more question then.
Oh, right, make it quick.
Where are the 39 steps? It's like a secret organisation. I'll ask you one final question.
I don't want to get shot though.
No, you're not getting a shot. What are the 38 steps? When we look back, you know what I should do? I think I would like to ask you to read a message that we got from some of our friends.
Oh, all right. Yes.
Now, some of you asked, where are the lads? In fact, we could do it together because we can alternate on the lines. We have two copies here. Some of
People like to close your eyes and you can imagine this is Sesame Street.
So the other was, I called up the various fighters could not be here. Throw and Hill could be here, but some of the other fighters could not be here. So there's a message here. I can read a bit, and you can read a bit, or whatever. We can all read it.
Well, all right, but shall we do it because we really don't like co-presenters?